Now, you talked about that initial call. They find out they're pregnant. It's very exciting. But I also know it's you then working on keeping their stress levels down so that they don't have a miscarriage in their first trimester, which, guys, this is so common. And so I want this to be a conversation we can have, because I feel women especially beat themselves up when they have a miscarriage. And like I said, I've known so many clients, I've had many friends that have gone through this, and it's just not talked about because it's taboo topic.
Yeah. And it unfortunately is so common. And it's the first thing I will say is it is not your fault. Okay. It is not your fault. There are so many factors that play into this. What I will say is that if you have experienced this, it is important to dig deeper and understand potentially why you might have experienced it. Because unfortunately, in conventional medicine, they don't do any testing or anything until you've experienced 3 miscarriages. And that to me is like abuse in a way. Like, I'm like, that is so terrible to make a woman go through that experience 3 times before you even check anything, you know? And with that said, actually, the majority of miscarriages that happen before the 12-week point are actually caused by poor sperm quality. So again, this is something to check in on. When men have poor sperm quality, that's something called DNA fragmentation. Essentially, that means that they have sperm that are either misshapen or slower or have genetic abnormalities, essentially. And they might even be able to fertilize the egg. Ideally, they're not even able to fertilize the egg, which is where it can lead to infertility. Okay. But sometimes they can actually fertilize the egg. And now the fertilized egg or the embryo is actually in a place of genetic damage from the start. And so that's why that can lead to a miscarriage, because then your body's like, this is not a healthy embryo. This is not going to be a healthy baby. So it's a way of your body telling you, like, this is not it. And with that said, I have this crazy story with one of my patients. She had 1 or 2 miscarriages. I can't remember exactly how many she had, but I was talking to her about this. And then she told me that her husband, her now husband, was married previously, and his ex-wife had 3 or 4 miscarriages. And
Whoa.
she recently got remarried. And when she got remarried, she got pregnant and had her baby like all like completely fine, you know? And so to me, I was like, okay, clearly this is a big factor. And again, in our culture, we don't talk about this, but it is so common. And then women put the blame on themselves. And I'm like, this is really, and it's not even about putting blame on anyone, right? It's about addressing the true issue at hand and then being able to figure out how we can then support you. So if it is male factor infertility or poor sperm quality or DNA damage to the sperm that has led to the miscarriage, then what can we do? Right? How do we support the man in optimizing his health and his sperm quality so that this doesn't happen anymore? And the beautiful thing about sperm is they regenerate every 3 to 6 months. And so within 6 months, we can see a huge difference. And
Wow.
a lot of times that's all it takes. And that's why my program is 6 months long, because it only takes 6 months to see results in, especially with sperm quality. When it comes to women's health, because we are a little bit more complex, our hormones are more complex, we only have a limited number of eggs. It does, like, especially if there's a lot going on, it could potentially take longer. But a lot of times within 6 months, we can see a huge difference.
Wow. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So how then do you support mama and hubby as they go into their second and their third trimesters?
Yes, great question. So one, actually, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, like touch on the miscarriage really quickly again. I was just thinking about a patient who I'm working with right now. She's currently pregnant. She just got into her third trimester, and this is the first time she's had multiple miscarriages, and this is the first time she's gone past the 10-week point, which was really cool. And so now she's in the third trimester. So, like now it's just like everything will be okay regardless. And so one of the things that she had really struggled with, and I think a lot of people have struggled with, and this is why I really wanted to address, was she struggled with being happy and excited about being pregnant because she's experienced so many miscarriages, And so she was having anxiety around, will this happen again? I don't know what's going to, all of that stuff. And then even after she reached that 10-week point and everything was good, she was still like, okay, but it was kind of like, when's the other shoe going to drop, And
Yeah.
so it was a really big struggle. And this is something that a lot of my patients experience. She's just the one that I'm like, currently, thinking of and seeing. And I know a lot of people in general deal with this. A lot of women do. And I think one of the things that was really helpful for her, and one of the things that I often recommend, is being able to maybe write a letter to the spirits that you lost. Write a letter, connect with them on a deeper level, connect with them through your womb, through your heart and body, and appreciate them for showing you like what could be, right? And then let them go and then welcome this new baby, because every pregnancy is different and we can't hold on to the past. And so there's this beautiful balance, and I think that has been really helpful with a lot of my patients, of just being able to be like, okay, let me stay present in this moment, this baby, and that doesn't mean I'm going to forget about the others, right? They were very real spirits that I had this connection with, and now I'm going to let them go and welcome this baby into my life.
That's beautiful. I love that idea
Yeah.
because we have a lot of generational trauma that people don't talk about. I remember hearing stories about people's births and their experience, and it was very traumatic for them. And you want to listen because you want to be respectful. Something I've learned in hypnobirthing is, I'm a hypnobirthing mama. Please, postpone your story kind of deal.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's so important in finding, like, especially if you're on social media or something like that, where you tend to see a lot of these people, like, honestly, block, ignore, like unfollow, whatever you need to do, and looking for pages that are showing more positive birth stories. And so that's where, like, getting into that second, third trimester, kind of coming back to that question, like getting into that time, a lot of it is really nourishing your body and making sure you're getting the nutrients. So of course, taking the main supplements I often recommend during pregnancy are like prenatal fish oil, vitamin D, and choline. And all of these are really supportive in helping reduce the risk of gestational diabetes and preeclampsia, which of course can, if the mother has that, that can impact the baby's health. And so this is why I focus on the mom so much, because everything she does impacts the baby as well, right? So and I just think our culture has it so backward, because we're like, make sure this baby's okay. And then I'm like, and then now the mom is stressing about if the baby's okay or not. And now the baby's actually feeling more stress, right? So, like, how about we make sure the mom's okay and the baby will
Hmm.
naturally be okay? It's
Right?
like, I've never seen it not happen that way, right? It just
Yeah.
never happened. And so, really nourishing yourself in terms of the nutrition and the nutrients that you're getting. So, of course, those supplements, but doing the best you can, and also letting go of certain things, right? Like, if you have a craving, it's cool. Like, it's fine. It's not that serious. Just eat the food and enjoy honestly, one of the things I always say is like, be grateful for your baby and express gratitude for your baby. Be like, oh, thanks for like reminding me how delicious this was, because I haven't had it in forever, right? I have a lot of, I don't know if you experience this, but a lot of people, especially in the first trimester, just always crave the things they grew up eating. Like, I wanted so much like milk and cereal, like because I grew up eating so much milk and cereal and carbs in general. Like I wanted all the bagels, and yeah, it was very different from what I normally would be eating. So I don't know if you also experienced that.
Well, I don't know. Like I craved citrus a lot.
Mm,
I was
yeah.
very like
Oh,
into citrus. And then I'm trying to think the other
yeah.
thing.
I also wanted Taco Bell.
You want to talk about? That's
I
amazing.
wanted Taco Bell so much because I grew up on Taco Bell.
That's
And
funny. Cheese was me. Cheese. I ate so much
yeah,
cheese that first
yeah.
trimester, but I'm a Wisconsin girl through and through.
See, there
So
you go. Yeah. See,
yeah.
yeah, it's like I feel like, and that's okay, just like letting that go. And usually in second, third trimester, it gets a little bit easier to go back to your healthy habits. But then also like making sure you're walking. So like preparing for labor at this time, the best things you could do is walk and squat. So that's why I'm always telling walk and squat, make sure you're walking. Honestly, it's great preconception as well. Walking is the most underrated exercise, but walk every single day, get your steps in, and then squat. Ina May's Guide to Childbirth, she's a midwife who talks about squatting, like doing 300 squats a day, which is crazy and not easy to do. So I recommend doing 40. So one for each week of pregnancy. Try to
Yeah.
get 40 a day. Very doable.